Mike, I'll call it. Think about choices. It reminds me of something that was said in Dr. Bob and the Good Old Timers. Dr. Bob was talking to a new guy, and those of y'all that know AA history, Bill was the power driver, Bob was the calm one. So when you hear what he said, you'll say, oh wow, this must have been serious if he said that. So he's talking to this new guy, and the new guy's in the hospital, and he says, I don't know what happened. I don't know how I got drunk. And Dr. Bob said, now hold on a minute. I'm trying to get it exactly right. He said, hold on a minute. You went in the bar, you chose to sit down, you ordered the drink, and you drank it. You're taking up a bed that could be used for somebody that wants this thing. As far as I'm concerned, you stink. Those are the words he said. I guess you stink is you're a fucking idiot back in 1930. I don't know exactly, but that's pretty strong language to some newcomer. And basically what was he saying, the guy? He says, why don't you own it, buddy? That's what our steps demand. The first step in the first sentence in the 12 and 12 says, I had to admit that glass in hand, I warped my mind into such a state of destructive drinking that only an act of providence could remove it. No longer could I blame it on anybody but myself. So I made the choice. But it's an interesting get out of jail free card that Bill gives us when we get here. Poor baby, you didn't have a choice. Well, that's great. But what happens once I learn that there's another way? Once I learn that there's these steps, that I can do this, and I realize I have an abundance of choices that was just shared about, and then I choose to not do them and I go back. I can't claim that I don't have the power of choice. Never again can I claim that I don't have the power of choice, even if I'm out there drinking, because I have chosen to be back out there because of the default choice of not choosing to avail myself of all these myriad of choices that we've already talked about. The word powerless is usually, I've been to thousands of meetings, you got two camps in AA. Ones that are always recovering, ones that have read the book and willing to say they're recovered, very few and far between. I don't get in the debate. There's a set of people who say that they never have the power of choice again. They're always powerless. And then there's the camp that goes into all the choices that we do have. But it's always those two camps. And I decided a long time ago I would analyze the word powerless and see how factual it is and how I could dissect it and come to my own conclusion. Because in law school they told us an opinion can be sufficiently factual if it's susceptible to being proven true or false by other evidence. So the definition of the word powerless, which we use to be the rubric for not having a choice, powerless means hopeless and helplessly ineffective. And I think to myself, back when I was out there, I tried to quit. I wasn't able to. I was losing hope for the future. What I was trying to do, stopping on my own accord, was ineffective. So in a true sense, by definition, I guess I was powerless when I was out there. But let me compare that with today. Today, I have hope because I realize I have a myriad of these choices that have been given me. I realize that I'm no longer helpless because not only do I have help from y'all, but I have found that I have help from a God that I have on a daily basis. We've talked about that. And certainly what I'm doing is effective because I've been doing it successfully for quite a long time. There's a couple of people in here a little longer, but for the most part, I've been doing it for most of my life now. That can be said with a straight face. So in a very real sense, today I'm no longer powerless because I realize I have all these choices, because what I'm doing has been giving me hope, is very effective, and I am no longer claiming that I am helpless. And I think that newcomers need to hear that. Newcomers need to hear about what this book really says about the idea of being perpetually powerless forever, or do we get a power in our lives? Because the word powerless is only used one time in the first 164 pages. The word power is used 67 times. Now you can decide for yourself what type of text this is, whether it's an empowerment text or a perpetually powerless text, whether it was we have choices text or we perpetually have no choice. I've made my decision. And I can back that argument up with vigor because I've actually studied what the book says about it, and I know its main thrust and what its message is. So, choices abound. I'm no longer powerless. And if you're new or you're just idly curious, know that this is a program of never having to drink again forever. But more than that, it's about not just being off the sauce, it's being off the sauce and having a reasonably happy life. And that's where the rest of the steps come in. I've had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, and I'll pass.
Thanks, Mike.